Hi there, this is Alvin from Dr. Wealth. Today, let's talk about Microsoft, a very well-known company that you should know. And you might be even a user of the Microsoft Office or the Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint. These are essential to our daily work life. And this Microsoft Office has been around for decades and its dominance has not been threatened, even with a lot of free apps coming along like WPS, LibreOffice, and some other paid alternative like Google Workspace. It still can't really get majority market share away from this Microsoft Office. So that is the very entrenched part. And interestingly, I also saw this image from Not Boring. He's a very famous writer on Substack, and this was quite a while back. But I always thought it was quite interesting because the Excel spreadsheet is so powerful that it can do so many different things. And a lot of the newer companies, software companies, SaaS companies that were trying to provide a new way of working is always trying to unbundling what Excel originally already can do. So that was something that very interesting to me, and that's even why Excel is still so much used today by people all around the world, and that shows that how entrenched these Microsoft Office programs can be. Like even if you may be using some of these sales program, you are still probably using Excel spreadsheet. So, but today we're not going to talk about how dominant Microsoft has been in terms of all this original Office software, right? That has been addressed and acknowledged by a lot of people. But I'm talking about the newer softwares and how does Microsoft respond to all these new players that's coming in and trying to get or trying to design new ways for people to work, because Microsoft Office is mainly serving those people who are really doing their daily tasks, whether is it on Word, PowerPoint, and Excel, or even on Outlook email. But now there are a lot of other new ways of working, right? Not just using the very templated softwares that all of us are very familiar with, right? We have like Slack, who try to destroy email. I'll give you more introduction to these softwares and what has Microsoft been doing. So the very first one, as I said, Slack, right? So Slack wanted to change the way we work, and it's very cumbersome when we are using email. In fact, it's been already a work transformation when email came about. Prior to that, people were writing letters, communication was slow. With email, it was a lot faster and you can send attachment. But there's even a faster way to work. In China, it's very common that a lot of work communications are done on messaging apps like WeChat. But in the Western part of the world, or even in major parts of the world, email is the more dominant way to work. So Slack wanted to change that way, right? Instead of using email, why not just use messaging as a baseline for communication? And you don't need to attach a file in an email, then maybe you attach another file to another group of people. So you might be attaching the same file to many different groups of co-workers. It becomes very inefficient, and sometimes you can't even find the attachment yourself. So how to solve this is that you have a messaging platform. You can split people into different groups or channels, or you can even do direct messaging, right? So it works almost like really like WhatsApp, okay? But on top of that, you have like an archive of files that you can just link it in Slack itself, so you don't need to keep attaching the file. That eats up your disk space as well. So that was the angle that Slack was coming in with, trying to disrupt the email or the reliance of email in the work setting. So it allows real-time communication as well as file archiving and access. And of course, Microsoft has this Outlook email software that has been very much used by enterprises and even individuals alike. And of course, with this new way of working, if Slack succeeds, that means there is a danger for the relevancy of Outlook. So what they did was that they decided, let's just copy Slack, okay? They in fact wanted to acquire Slack, but Bill Gates was saying that they should work on Skype business instead, so that acquisition didn't go through. But eventually they went on and create this Microsoft Teams, which is already a very well-known software today, but it wasn't that it wasn't that long, okay, in terms of its history. It was just launched in around 2017, right, just about 5 years ago since this recording has been done, right? So they created Teams to directly compete with Slack, and if you look at the interface, it's almost similar, right? Very chat-based platform, and you have all the archival of the files, okay? So it was a direct copy. right? And they bundle it together with Office, and that was the killer. Because you think about it, why would you want to pay for more softwares, incur higher costs, having multiple logins, different softwares for the team, right? When you can have just Microsoft ecosystem that handles all your work requirements. So that is that killer that Microsoft is coming in with by bundling everything within its Microsoft Office 365, right? So there are of course different tiers. I just took the business standard, which includes the Microsoft Teams as well as some of the desktop clients of the favorite Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. It will cost about 150 per user per year. And Slack is not expensive, it's about 87 per year. That's the cheapest tier, right? And then some people also need video conferencing, and they'll be looking at Zoom, which is about $206 per year, right? Somewhere in the mid tier. Okay, so if you combine both together, it's almost $300 per user per year, right? That is not very user conscious in terms of cost control, right? So with just one Microsoft membership, one Microsoft subscription, you get to make it cheaper, and yet everything is inside in one place. So that bundling strategy is very effective, and most of the enterprises are already Microsoft users, so they don't need to fork out more money for new software when these new features are combined with Microsoft Office itself. So that eventually caused Microsoft Teams to really did better than Slack, which I'll show you in a while. And another aspect that most people miss is not just in terms of the utility, but also in terms of the security and the risk of using new software. You know, the boss generally will be weighing the risk not just in terms of pricing, right? So on first look, pricing already lost. Okay. Then on the second look is that you want me to use this new software where I'm not sure whether it can pose a security risk. What if there's really a security loophole because this startup didn't manage it well enough, and proprietary information or customer details are leaked into the internet? Who is going to answer for that, right? So in that case, they will probably stick to the tried and tested Microsoft. Okay, they've been using for decades, and so far there's no big issues that's running around, right? So, and even if there is an outbreak or what, they can say, oh, I'm using Microsoft, it's very well known, okay? As opposed to using a software that nobody really knows, and they run into trouble, they'll be on a their head will be on the chopping board. So that is why I would think that with all these considerations, Microsoft has a very clear advantage over the newer softwares. And looking at this chart, it tells you that how that adoption really work. The bundling effect really comes in around 2019. Okay, that's where Microsoft Teams have surpassed Slack. And now, as of 2020, right now I don't have the stats, but as of 2020, the daily active users in Teams is 5 times the daily active users in Slack. Right, so even though Microsoft came in later, but because of their bundling strategy, they were so effective in capturing the users because they already have the distribution channel. They just need to add into the Microsoft Office 365, and people start to realize that, oh yeah, this new way to work is quite effective, then let's move on to it without any extra cost and lower the friction as compared to having to shift to a totally new platform that many may not heard of in the first instance. Okay, so that was how Microsoft Teams went ahead with their bundling strategy, and Slack eventually got acquired by Salesforce, which was not a bad exit considering that it was still higher than the IPO price. Okay, they did a direct listing, right? Still higher than that reference price that they first listed. So still not bad for Slack, but definitely Microsoft Teams is a winner here. And the next software that they were trying to change the way to work is this company or this platform called Notion. It is hard to explain unless you really have used it before because it tries to encompass a lot of things. Okay, basically you can build your customized workspace for your company. Okay, because they have very different modules that you can add, different functions that you can add, and you can customize whatever you want, how it looks. So it can be very versatile, right? Of course, when it comes to customization, it has some learning curve with it, but it can be very effective. And I just want to show you a few things that you can use with Notion. Like you can do a company wiki. You can archive your SOPs. You can archive your manual whatever this kind of company policies, leave policy, HR policies, values, vision, mission. So you can keep like a general reference point for everybody instead of keeping it in files. And sometimes you may update one file, but somebody is keeping an older version, and you may not have the same access to the real to the most updated one. Yes, you can use a cloud storage, a drive, but this is a bit different because you can change the layout to something that's more user friendly. Okay, and one look you can make it customized in a way that you can go to that document as fast as you can without going through folders and folders in a cloud drive, for example. And another use case for it is you can also like Confluent, like Atlassian, which is tailored for more developers, where they manage a lot of this kind of workflow. And this Notion also covers that, which means that you don't need to have a dedicated one for developers and then another one for marketers. You can have everybody using Notion, right? It has a workflow management where you can assign tasks, you can track tasks, whether they are done, all these things, right? So it is as flexible as that. And another function is this useful for marketers is content calendar. So you can put in like content ideas, wait to be developed by others, right, in the team, and schedule to post when, so people know what to work on first, right? So this is also another function that Notion has. And you can also serve as a database, okay, a very simple database where you can link data together into different tables, and then you can click on certain things, you can link to another set of data, right? So you can conveniently have all this data incorporated into the platform itself rather than having separate Excel spreadsheet, right? So as I said, you can see everybody is trying to unbundle Microsoft Office. Okay, so this is another aspect of it. So example is that you can use it as a sales CRM, so you don't need other SaaS platform like Monday.com, or there are plenty of CRM softwares out there, right? So Notion is flexible in the sense that it can customize and create many different kind of functions within the company workspace itself. Okay, so that's the beauty of it. And of course, Microsoft is not going to let Notion win. And with all this new productivity software coming up, Microsoft doesn't want to lose out, and they have launched this Microsoft Loop in 2021. And you can see the UI user interface is almost identical to what Notion is, right? So it's also a highly customizable kind of workspace for your company. Okay, so you can already use it if you have a Microsoft subscription. So you can see that they keep copying new ideas that are working very well. And the third one that I want to cover is this company or platform called Canva. This is more for designers, okay? For us, we do a lot of all these marketing collaterals. We do like YouTube thumbnails. We do like Instagram posts. And it can be very time consuming to do everything from scratch. And what Canva does is that it makes it very easy. It gives you design ideas. It gives you templates so you can use it quickly. Even if you lack some artistic flair, it can compensate with those templates and design ideas. And they also size everything nicely for you, whether is it for Facebook posts, whether is it for YouTube thumbnail, the sizing is all there, right? So it becomes very easy to use, and it also comes with stock photo, right? And you don't need to subscribe to separate stock photo websites just to download those. Canva already have a library, a very good library of them. They have fonts, they have everything that you need in terms of design. So we really love Canva. It shortcut a lot of our design headaches, and we really swear by it. We are paid users, okay? And then again, Microsoft doesn't want to lose this pie. They are launching this Microsoft Designer. It is not officially available to everybody yet. You have to join the wait list. I do think that some people already get to use it as a trial. But if you're interested, you can go and play around. Okay, but what is most interesting is that yes, it's trying to be Canva, it tries to do what Canva can do, but there is something else on top of it that makes it more attractive, and that is the AI text to image creator DALL-E 2. If you have not really see how powerful it is, I would recommend you to go and search it on YouTube, and you'll be able to be amazed with some of the things that this DALL-E 2 can do. Right, so basically you can just type in describe what the image you want it to be, and then the AI will generate for you, and that image has never existed before, right? So just and give you a variety of it for you to choose, and that becomes even a better a better product than Canva, right? Because Canva you still need to adjust, you make some amendments, add in some images, combine them to become a design itself. But this, you just type in the text. No matter how lousy you are as an artist or some design flair that you lack, you just type in, describe it well enough, and pop out come an image that you can use readily, right, in terms of seconds. Okay, so I think that this would be a very attractive proposition as a user myself, right? So we might even switch from Canva to this Microsoft designer, right, if it is indeed that useful. Okay, so all in all, you can see that Microsoft Office already have a very strong core software, right, in the form of Word, Excel, as well as PowerPoint, right? But it doesn't rest on the laurels, because it continue to take note of what are the new softwares that are up and coming that could disrupt the way of work. Okay, so if they really succeed and have traction, that's where Microsoft will come in and copy them shamelessly. And we have seen that in Slack, Notion, and Designer. And so far, they have been very successful because once they copied it, they will bundle it with their Office 365. And if you're already a 365 user, which is very likely because we already established that Microsoft Office programs are still very entrenched with a lot of users. And with that new feature, you pay the same price. There is very little reason why you want to use another software, pay more, and have more logins and websites to handle, right? So it makes your productivity or your work a lot more efficient. So I would say that this is a very fantastic strategy that Microsoft has been employing, and we don't see any letting up from Microsoft. So they are really still the king of work software, I would say. Of course, there may be some risk of attracting antitrust lawsuits from the government, like what they have received in 1998, where they bundled Internet Explorer into the Windows OS. But as of now, after even some copying of all these successful softwares, we haven't really seen any lawsuits coming out. So I think they're safe for now, right? So Microsoft, okay, still the king of work software nonetheless, right? I hope you've enjoyed this analysis. Please give me a thumbs up for this video if you have enjoyed it. And remember to subscribe to this channel so that you won't miss another analysis, unique analysis of companies that you might be interested to invest in. Okay, this is Alvin. Hope you enjoyed this. Goodbye.